More men are choosing to be single these days more than women are, and they are blaming it on women. 63% of men in their 20s are single.
Here's some crazy research for you. So a third of men, 33%, a little over a third of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner.
Surprise! The number of young single men in America is at a record high. This is why. According to Pew Research data that was released this week, a staggering 63% of men in their 20s are single, which is almost double that of women.
Are men deliberately choosing to be single, or is there something or a group of people that are forcing them to be single?
Okay, so the tables have turned. New studies have shown that men are quite literally going to be dying alone if they don't get their ish together.
A couple days ago, Psychology Today released this article about the rise of lonely single men.
Women are said to have increased their dating standards. They are refusing to settle with low-quality, low-effort men.
I have been tagged in this article more times than I can count, so I'm just going to put an end to this and show it makes no sense what you guys are saying.
According to the articles, women's standards have increased so much as a whole that it's making it hard for men to gain access to us. Let's read further, shall we? Dating opportunities for heterosexual men are diminishing as healthy relationship standards increase. Women ages 25 to 45 say that they prefer men who are emotionally available, good communicators, and share similar values.
Some men are claiming that the reason why they are choosing to be single in their 20s is because they are struggling to find high-value women, and they are choosing to avoid distractions.
Most of my guy friends are single right now, and this is why. Talking about my friends, they're hustlers. And so in their mind, they're thinking not only would a girl be kind of a distraction right now, but the girl that they could get right now is nowhere near as good as the one that they could get in 5 years, when they're richer, when they're more successful, when they're more established.
First of all, it's really easy to say that you don't want a relationship when a woman doesn't want a relationship with you. Women have collectively decided to raise their standards, and the truth is a lot of men these days don't meet those standards. A man being able to only pay the light bill is not going to cut it. Women want financial stability. This isn't new. Y'all try to act like it's new, but it's not. Back in the days when women didn't have bank accounts, didn't have jobs, they did select partners who could financially provide for them and their future children. Stop acting like women these days are so new and what's wrong with them and this is so revolutionary and these are modern women. Women have always expected a man to provide. You're modern because you expect a woman to split bills with you, and no woman in history has ever been asked that. And then with this bootleg vague threat like, you guys are going to want us in 5 to 10 years. We're going to be the ones with the money, and you're going to wish you hadn't hated on us when we were in our 20s. You're getting princess treatment. You're getting flown out. You're getting spoiled by these men who have money right now. And when we get the money, we're not going to want you. Those women don't care. The reason why there's so many single men out there is because we are asking you to be better, and some of these men are refusing to. You're digging in your heels. You're being stubborn, and you're going to stay single until you change. Women are evolving. Evolve with us or get left.
From inception, women have always wanted men that are financially stable, men that are providers and protectors. Most men of this current age are dealing with emotional trauma. They are refusing to heal or fix their mental issues by going for therapy. They have refused to be responsible, nor even change their bad behaviors.
First and foremost, most people that have made a video about this article have definitely not read the article. They just read the title, read these, and went, I get to trash men now, and made their video. And they most certainly have not looked into the studies that this article is based on. Don't worry, I did. And in the first paragraph, which is the summary, they found the most vulnerable to loneliness were younger men living in individualistic cultures, which America is. The reason that is so important is because everyone that made a video about that first article constantly say that women are raising their standards and men can't meet it. That's why men are so lonely. But studies show that younger men are the ones that go to therapy, they're better fathers, better partners, and have a better sense of masculinity, healthy masculinity. So it's awesome that you're raising your standards, but why would it ever make sense that the people that come closest to meeting those standards are the ones that fall the most short and are now the loneliest statistically?
Nearly they say cannot kill a bird. If you don't have it, you don't have it. So he's saying that women should accept low quality, low value men because they are making effort. They are coming close to women's standard. If they are coming close to the standard, what exactly is stopping them from meeting the standard? Men are so used to doing bare minimum in relationships. Women have always been the ones carrying the relationships, making all effort. Right now, women are saying they are tired. They don't want low value men. They don't want low quality men. Men need to step up. They need to level up.
Skills deficits. For men, this means a relationship skills gap that, if not addressed, will likely lead to fewer dating opportunities, less patience for poor communication skills, and longer periods of being single. The problem for men is that emotional connection is the lifeblood of healthy long-term love. Emotional connection requires all the skills that families are still not consistently teaching their young boys.
So what this means is the men that do have those top tier skills become even more elevated, and to get them, it becomes even more difficult. So ladies, you still got to do your part. You still got to bring your A game. You still have to be intentional about who you're speaking with and how you're choosing people. It all matters.
Only men out there? Let's break down these numbers. Scholars say that women don't want to marry down, whereas in the past, men played a more significant dominant role in relationships. Women are now taking home 60% of all bachelor's degrees. And even though men still earn more money than women, that wage gap is slowly closing. It's now sitting at $43 a week. And that empowerment of young women is removing young men from the relationship equation. So then who are these young women dating? Some are dating and marrying slightly older men, which has been a thing for centuries. And others are more openly dating each other. There's more to it than just changing social dynamics. Women are also tired of dating emotionally unavailable and distant men, which is a larger issue in male relationships in general. Research shows that more men than women are friendless and lonely, and only half of single men are even looking for a committed relationship or even going on casual dates. They just want friends. And the social disconnect actually has really tragic consequences. Like the young male unalive rate is 4 times that of women. And all this research compounds with a 2021 Gallup poll, which found that American men are experiencing a friendship recession, with nearly 1 in 6 American men reporting not having a single close friend. Female empowerment is one thing, but if relationships and friendships are both falling for men, where does that leave us in the future?
Men are blaming feminism for the reason why men are refusing to date nor approach women.
I don't know why they're not going up to a woman. Like, what's holding them back from that?
Because of feminism and Me Too and all that shit. And because women will put men on blast who like maybe awkwardly approach them. You see also those gym TikTok videos where girls like work out in the gym and then there's like a guy who like glances at them for like 1 second and they fucking blast them. That's what guys are scared of. And these guys they're not even doing anything wrong. They're just like innocently, sometimes they're not even looking in their direction. So there's like this social component now where like people are terrified to get like being exposed on social media. So
let me explain something. I am somebody who does not approach girls very often, that I don't know. Let me clarify. Why do I do this? Is it like the girl says, am I just not man enough? Maybe. Or potentially does it have something to do with the fact that the last, I don't know, year, most of the content that we consume as men is women making it very loud and clear that they do not want men talking to them. They don't want it so bad that they want to be in a forest with a deadly bear over a man.
Ladies, 95% of men do not approach women in real life like they used to. I know how it used to work. You go out with your friends, guys would approach you, you'd have a handful to pick from to go on a date with, but they don't do it anymore. And I'm here to tell you, it's not your fault. It is not your fault as a woman. It's actually the men. And I know it's weird hearing a man say it's the men's fault, but in this particular instance, it definitely is.
Okay, I'm going to call bullshit on this entire thing that men are saying that is not true, and here we go. Men say that women are mean, that if they come over to a woman and say, hi, my name is Daniel, and I was admiring you from over there, you're lovely, what is your name? That the woman is going to respond and say, oh my God, get away from me, you're a creep! That's not going to happen. That will not happen. More times than not, if a man crosses a room to introduce himself to a woman, Daniel, in this case, is going to be met with, that's so kind of you to come over, Daniel. My name is Lisa. Nice to meet you. I am married, however, but this is my cousin Melinda, and she's single and lovely. You should talk. And then they get along, or not. You just say, hi, thank you, you're so sweet, so kind, I'm not available. That's what a real woman would say. This is bullshit. This is just coward men looking for excuses.
Here are more reasons why men are forced to be single.
Honestly, from what I've noticed and from what I've been told, men said they're not approaching because they don't want to be labeled thirsty, stalker, harasser, Others said they assume she already has someone. Others said they just don't like rejection. Because the majority of the time when a guy's interested, a woman will act like he's bothering her or not her type. Because they're not allowed to approach women. I do remember women saying en masse that they wanted to be left alone and not approached.
Third of men, 33%, a little over a third, of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. So I've got a question for the men. So my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done.
You know, I'm seeing more and more of these videos, and honestly, it makes me sad because guys have told women why. We've made it very clear why we're walking away. And we're walking away in droves, and it's only going to get worse because you're not hearing why we're walking away. It's very simple. Don't read between the lines. Hear these words. There is absolutely no benefit anymore to being in a relationship with a woman for a man. None. Zero. Zilch. Especially when you consider the risk compared to any potential reward. Roughly 55% of marriages end in divorce and the guy loses everything. Add into it all the relationships where they weren't married and the guy lost access to his kids and had to pay mountains of child support and so on. When you really look at it, there's less than a 1 in 4 chance of having a successful relationship. Would you risk everything you have? Would you risk your children and having access to them, knowing you only had a 25% chance of success? I doubt it. Add to it the expectations that today's women have are beyond absurd. We all joke about the sixes, but the reality is that is most women's expectation. You expect men to give, and offer nothing in return. I'm not saying any of this to be mean, but I am being blunt in hopes you'll hear it, because we've said it over and over and over again. And yet, you're still asking us, why are you walking away? That, in a nutshell, is the crux of the problem. You ask us, but you don't want to hear the response. And if you hear it, you don't want to accept it. My honest advice to you ladies is this. Get a mirror, look in it, and ask yourself, what are we offering to men? Why should men want to be with us? And if your answer is things like you have a great career or job, or that you're going to cook and clean, none of that matters to us. Not in the least. What matters to us? Peace, loyalty, and acknowledgement. Something very, very few women give to their man. And until you're willing to give that, until you're willing to set aside your ridiculous expectations, those numbers you mentioned are only going to get worse.
I think a lot of men are missing the point here. They are shifting blame as usual and refusing to accept their fault. They are focusing on the few negative reactions they are getting from traumatized women and they are generalizing it. I feel like these men are deliberately refusing to focus on the main problem. Should women be blamed for feeling traumatized by men? Are men innocent in that regard? Of course, no.
So apparently single men are starting to become afraid to approach women in real life because they don't want to be viewed as creepy. Around like 53% according to this one study. And I just really think that is not enough. Run the percentage up. Run the percentage up. This is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing, and I'm going to tell you why. A man being concerned about being viewed as creepy while approaching a woman shows an awareness of the reality of violence that women face when they're approached by men, when they deal with men, when they're talked to by men, when they're harassed by men, cackled by men, etc. And he does not want to be a part of said reality. There is literally nothing negative about men starting to be hyper aware of how they're interacting with women. There's no negative to that because it's been on the other end of the spectrum for so long, right? Like men have been so used to women being at their disposal and their availability whenever they want to, right? That now some men see it as a slight that, oh my God, I have to worry about being viewed as a creep. You have to worry about being viewed as a creep while we have to worry about death. This is not a slight to you if you are concerned about being viewed as creepy. You should be. You should be thinking, how am I going to approach this woman in a way that is not going to scare her, that is not going to creep her out or freak her out or make her feel like I am dangerous. You should absolutely be thinking that. And then for the men that are like, well, how am I supposed to date women now? Oh my gosh, like how am I supposed to go on dates? Do you hear yourself? Your complaint is that going out on dates with women is now going to be harder for you. That doesn't sound like the most privileged thing. Being harder for y'all to approach us is not oppression. That is not a slight to you. That is a byproduct of the violence that we have to deal with and face. It's a byproduct of all these other men in the world that make that so difficult. A black woman and girl was killed every 6 hours in 2020. Around 81% of women in general deal with sexual harassment. Women get killed for saying no to men on the street. Until those statistics and statistics like it stop, we have a right to not be sure if you as a man approaching us is going to be one of those men. And you need to start thinking about your behavior and making sure you do not become one of those men or come off as one of those men. This is not a negative thing. A lot of y'all need to be concerned about being viewed as a creep.
Men have been used to easily getting women, having women at their beck and call in the past, including the low quality, low effort man. It's no longer business as usual. Women have raised their standard and these men are upset. To them, who are these women to raise their standard? Those women are supposed to be beneath us. Who are they? Women are not supposed to have any voice. So I feel like men are deliberately refusing to level up. They are deliberately refusing to change their bad behaviors because they feel like their egos are being bruised by women, because they feel like women are not supposed to make them work so hard. Women are beneath them. Who are women to make them change their behavior and putting much effort in a relationship? Morning, afternoon, night, men are always seen blaming feminism for the reason women are leveling up, for the reason women are asking for better treatment, for the reason women are raising their standard.
Fellas, I don't know if you are intentionally or subconsciously being confused by what we mean when we say we would rather stay single, but it's not because we don't want a relationship. It's not because we don't want companionship, partnership. The problem is, why would we get into a relationship specifically with a man when it does not improve the conditions of our lives, or at the very least maintain the status of life that I currently provide to myself? Why? So if I'm financially stable, emotionally stable, if I go to therapy, if I have taken the time to build a genuine connection with people around me, a community, why I want a relationship with a man who has not even taken steps to improve his own life, but want to be in a relationship with me? Why?
Men for the last generation have been subtly, continually trained to not approach women. And it's happened over years. Okay? And I think the whole independent woman, the whole feminist movement that impacted the aforementioned movement has made a lot of women in the West very unpleasant.
All right, ladies, let's talk about why men do not court anymore. Let's go. The reality is that modern feminism in a lot of ways had us as women take a gamble, and we lost. We took the bait that being sexually promiscuous and having no standards and no self-respect was cool and in. We decided that we would give men access to our bodies and our time and our energy without them having to put in any effort. We have allowed men to do the bare minimum for so long, and we still give them benefits that they don't deserve. And so now men are following suit, and we are confused as to why this is happening. It's okay to want a man to lead and to court you, but you have to understand that we collectively as women set the tone. So if the tone of the dating market is that all women are easy now and that men can pretty much get whatever they want and do whatever they want and still get access to us, then that's what the majority of men are going to do. There are plenty of men who are good men who love women and respect women and honor women. But even those men, if they are single and there are women out there that are throwing it at them, they're gonna catch it. So just ask yourself, what kind of woman are you? And are you contributing to the problem? Are you the kind of woman who is allowing men to be low vibrational and contributing to this idea that all women have low standards and that men can do the bare minimum and get away with it? Or are you a woman who's leading by example and challenging other women around you to do the same by operating from a place of self-dignity, self-respect, values, standards, strong boundaries, a woman who knows her worth? Before we start whining and complaining about what they aren't doing, let's take a look at what it is that we are doing.